This is Barry Zalma speaking for Claim School Incorporated, Zalma's Insurance Fraud Letter for October 15, 2022. This being Volume 26, Issue Number 20, available as a full PDF at the link on the blog post. This video includes short teases about the articles in this issue that can be read on the link at the blog posting. It will start with an article about ethics and insurance fraud, where the article describes the fact that insurance fraud is a crime in most jurisdictions. In California, for example, it is a felony subject to 5 years in prison upon conviction. By definition, a person who commits the crime of insurance fraud is not acting ethically. For example, in State v. Whitaker, a 2007 decision of the Hawaii Court of Appeal, Whitaker, after presenting a claim to his insurer, was indicted, convicted, and sentenced for insurance fraud in violation of Hawaii Revised Statutes and attempted theft in the second degree. The article goes on to explain the decision. In the next article is about a RICO judgment that allowed disgorgement of damages from the defendant Fraudsters. In Diane Creel versus Dr. Says LLC et al., the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Texas on September 27, 2022 found that the plaintiffs obtained a verdict against defendant Dr. Yupo Jesse Chang, M.D., for violation of the Civil Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organization Act, or RICO, and for RICO conspiracy. The court, after the verdict, needed to enter its findings of fact and conclusions of law regarding equitable disgorgement, and did so. And you could read that article in full. Then there's an article about new California fraud statutes, starting with SB 1040, that adds to the orders of restitution from persons who sell insurance without the necessary license from the Department of Insurance, including extended vehicle warranties sold illegally through robocalls and misappropriation of consumers' and businesses' premiums, among other insurance scams, and also added statutory requirements for people selling insurance in the state of California. Next, there is an article describing good news from the Coalition Against Insurance Fraud that listed multiple convictions for insurance fraud, including one where dead patients couldn't stop Thomas G. O'Lear from billing taxpayers $3.7 million for fraudulent x-rays in the Indianapolis area. O'Lear ran a portable x-ray firm that zapped patients in nursing homes, skilled nursing facilities, and long-term care facilities. He billed for thousands of x-rays that he and his business did not perform. That included 151 x-rays on dates after the patient had died. He also billed Medicare and Medicaid for services at nursing facilities on dates when patients were either hospitalized and not on site at the facilities. O'Lear took multiple x-rays in one visit and falsely claimed that each was done on a different day, requiring separate reimbursement for transportation of the portable equipment on each day, and he falsely billed for multiple images of patients when only one image was done, thus requiring a higher reimbursement. O'Lear covered up his scheme by forging medical records, falsifying X-ray images, and forging signatures of his employees and the doctor he said had ordered the X-ray. The next article discussed a case where an insurer took the profit out of fraud, where the insured suit for fire insurance benefits was defeated by a qui tam claim by the insurer as a cross-claim. In Lisa A. McCullough versus Metlife Auto Home, the USDC for the Middle District of Pennsylvania on September 30, 2022, defeated McCullough's suit seeking to force Metlife to pay plaintiff for an insurance policy on her home, which was destroyed in a fire in 2019 that was probably, and the evidence seemed to show, caused by Ms. McCullough. Next, a resource for the insurance professional is provided because after practicing insurance law for over 5 decades, I, as an insurance expert and author, are releasing multiple education books on Amazon.com. The publications are designed to inform claims people, special investigation unit investigators, coverage lawyers, plaintiffs' bad faith lawyers, insurance management, and insurance buying public on insurance claims, procedures, and insurance fraud. Each resource leverages key insights and learning from my 55 years of practical experience as a claims person and insurance coverage lawyer. The next article deals with an insurer that was awarded damages for fraud by an insured, and the insured suit for fire insurance benefits was defeated by a qui tam cross-claim by the insurer. In Lisa A. McCullough versus Metlife Auto Home, the United States District Court for the Middle District of Pennsylvania on September 30, 2022, found that McCullough's suit was invalid because she claimed a fire at her home, which apparently she started. Next, there's a listing of health insurance fraud convictions over the last 15 days, which are multiple and include the first case about a doctor who admitted illegally prescribing 120,000 opioid pills. Dr. Zung An Pham of Tustin, California, pleaded guilty to writing prescriptions for more than 120,000 opioid pills over a 6-year span, including to an impaired driver who struck and killed a bicyclist. In his plea agreement, Dr. Pham admitted distributing the pills without a legitimate medical purpose in exchange for cash and insurance payments. He pleaded guilty in October, conspiracy to distribute controlled substances. Pham faces up to 20 years in federal prison when he's sentenced in January. Then there's a listing of multiple other than health insurance fraud convictions, including the one concerning one-time brewery owner and financial advisor who was found guilty of murdering a client for life insurance benefits. Keith Todd Ashley was found guilty by federal jurors in the Eastern District of Texas on charges of wire fraud, mail fraud, carrying a firearm in relation to a crime of violence, and bank fraud. Ashley, a North Texas man, was found guilty of several fraud-related felonies in federal court earlier in the month of October. Prosecutors said the frauds were part of a wide-ranging series of crimes that eventually came to include a murder and cover-up orchestrated to obtain life insurance benefits. This video was adapted from my newsletter, Zalma on Insurance Fraud, and it is available free by clicking on the link at Zalma.com to the insurance fraud letter, where you can find a link to the last 2 issues of Zalma's insurance fraud letter. If you found this video to be interesting or useful to you, please convey it to your friends and colleagues so that they can also subscribe to the fraud letter, and so that they can read the fraud letter and or listen and view this blog video on YouTube and rumble.com, where you can also please click on the like button or the Rumble button and subscribe to the videos and to my Locals channel and my Substack publications. Thank you for your attention.